Mikel Arteta has a massive decision to make. If I'm being honest, I'm glad it's Arteta making the decision and not me. Now, look, if I'm being honest, I think he will get this right. But if he doesn't, there is jeopardy. Like, this doesn't only affect us in the next game, but going forward as well. Declan Rice, I'm asking you guys a very simple question to start this off. Do you play Declan Rice in the Champions League game knowing that Zubimendi is unavailable for selection due to suspension? Knowing that Declan Rice is so close to that suspension as well. If he picks up one more yellow card, he will miss the Bayern Munich game, and he is pivotal in that Arsenal midfield this season. We've seen how important Declan Rice is. So the question is, do you play Declan Rice against Slavia Prague? Yes or no? Look, we're going to have no Zubimendi and no Declan Rice in my team anyway, because I just don't risk him. I don't think you can. We've bought Norgard for a reason, so for me, you just have to play him this game. Now, that does mean you have to jiggle around your starting 11 somehow, because we know what this Arsenal team is dealing with in terms of injuries at this moment. We've had more injuries than most of us thought. Now, it's good we have a deep squad. But even now, I'm looking at this squad and thinking, I'd rather rest that player. Like Saka, he's going to have to play. We're going into a period now where it's like we've got a couple more games that you look at and think, right, these should be wins. And then we go into quite a difficult period, if we're being honest. The season for Arsenal started so tough. You saw that start to the season for Arsenal and you looked at it and you thought, this is not good. If we can get through that period, we are on track. We got through that period. And now kind of the past few weeks, we've had some games where you can kind of relax a little bit and look at the games as formalities. I know it's never that easy, but if Arsenal are the team that most of us believe they are, then you look at games like Burnley and you think, right, that just should be a win. And Arsenal got the points. But now, after Slavia Prague, we've got Sunderland, a team banging form at the minute. But if you go past that, you've got Tottenham coming up. Then you've got Bayern Munich. Then you've got Chelsea. Those are 3 difficult games in a 7-day, 8-day period. So you need to have your team in tip-top condition for those games while still fielding a strong enough team for the games coming up. Look, this is still the Champions League we're playing tomorrow. So I'm not saying let's take our foot off the gas, because there's no good resting players for the Slavia Prague game. Playing a second string team or a weakened team, losing that and then playing a full strength team against Bayern Munich and winning that, it doesn't make sense. You want to win both of the games. So what does Mikel Arteta do with that team selection? I'm going to ask you guys what your team selection is. Very quickly though, do me a favour. I'm trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. If you enjoy this content, just click subscribe. So the team selection for this game, I think David Raya has to keep his position. Some people might look at this and say, well, it's a cup game, so maybe we should play Kepa. I actually thought he performed well in the cup, but it's Champions League. Don't experiment with your goalkeeper in the Champions League. David Raya has to play. Now, in terms of right back, that is where we can have some discussion, because Jurriën Timber's been brilliant, but let's play Ben White. He's clearly not up to fitness. He hasn't played all that much football this season. So this is another opportunity to get Ben White up to that level. Most of us know he's capable of playing centre-back. I go Mascara, and then I probably play Gabriel in this game. I think you have to play one of the big boys, because again, it's still Champions League. Look, Arteta will probably play Saliba and Gabriel, but I'm just looking at it thinking there was an injury scare around Saliba recently. There was with Gabriel as well, but I think you have to play one of them. The one I play in this game is Gabriel, just for the fact that he's so good on the set pieces. So if he doesn't score from a set piece, in my opinion, he's bound to set someone up. So Gabriel, left back, Miles Lewis-Skelly. Let's play him. Midfield, this is where it's interesting. Let me know your midfield three, honestly, because it's like, do you play Declan Rice or don't you? For me, I go Norgard, Marino, and then Eze. I think that is a more than capable midfield of going away from home in the Champions League against Slavia Prague, a decent team, but not an elite team, and getting the 3 points. And at this stage, the group stage of the Champions League, the most important thing is the 3 points. And a midfield of Norgard, Marino, and Eze is capable enough defensively, because I'm sure away from home, in a hostile crowd, there's going to be periods of the game where they probably get on top of us. But having Marino, we know what he offers defensively, but also getting forward as well. Mikel Marino is the perfect option. Eze, there's a bit of conversation around Eze recently. Some people are probably not as happy with the signing as others. Look, I think he's getting on fine. I don't see a problem with Eze. Some people are saying then he's not exactly the player that they thought he was getting. They was expecting this player to come in and start scoring in a lot of the games. Look, Eze is a player who oozes creativity, who shows flashes of brilliance. Has he been at his tip-top 100% form? Probably not, but he's just moved to a new club. He is still adapting to the Mikel Arteta methods, to the way that these Arsenal players are not only expected to do things going forward, but there is a need for when teams break on us, you have to get back. That was demonstrated in that Burnley game where it was like extra time. The game was never in danger, and Burnley was on for a bit of a break, and every single Arsenal player was running back. And I'm seeing people give credit to Arsenal for this, and this is kind of a Mikel Arteta philosophy that is a kind of non-negotiable. If you play for this Arsenal team, I'm happy to see your creativity going forward, but when we lose possession of the ball and there's a turnover, you better believe in that transition, you better work back for this Arsenal team. Eze probably wasn't used to that. At Crystal Palace, he was probably given license to, you're the most creative player we have, so don't waste that necessarily tracking back. When we get you the ball, do something going forward. So maybe that's why we're seeing a tiny dip in terms of that creativity. Again, I'm happy with what Eze is offering Arsenal. We saw it in the game against Crystal Palace where he had that brilliant moment where the ball broke to him in the middle of the box and he scissor kicked it. A phenomenal goal that will breed confidence with Eberechi Eze. Anyway, I think he's doing very, very well. So a midfield of Norgard, Marino and Eze should be more than strong enough against Slavia Prague. Right wing, unfortunately, I think we have to go Bukayo Saka if you want the 3 points. I wouldn't mind actually playing Ethan Nwaneri out on that right wing. Let me know if you agree or not, because I still think Ethan Nwaneri's best performances in this Arsenal first team have actually come from that right-hand side. Now, look, he's not doing anything wrong, particularly in the middle of the park, but I think sometimes when he does lose the ball more central, it just seems more dangerous. Like the teams, all of a sudden, they're on top of us. And when he was out wide, he was very capable at taking his man on. And that's where he scored a couple of them goals where he cut in on his left foot, like Bukayo Saka does, and whacks it top corner or bends it around the keeper. I think we've missed that since Nwaneri has moved more central. So for that reason, I wouldn't mind seeing Ethan Nwaneri on that right-hand side. And then left-hand side, you have to play Trossard. Again, injuries we're dealing with. Martinelli, if we had him, then there could be a lot more rotation, but Martinelli's out, so you have to play Trossard, and then it looks like you're going to have to play Victor Gyökeres up front if he's back from this injury, which I'm not sure he will. If not, I would actually play the Anus again up front, so I'm probably getting his name totally wrong, but the young guy that played in the EFL Cup, I'm sure he won't. He will probably play Mikel Marino up front and do some jiggling with that midfield. I just hope we don't see Declan Rice in that midfield. If he does, then look, fine. Mikel Arteta will have to have the conversation with him. Look, I need to play you in midfield. But if you make even the silliest of tackles, I miss you against Bayern Munich. And that is a game that he would be pivotal in. Declan Rice has to play against Bayern Munich. They are on fire at the minute. I don't need to tell you how good Bayern Munich are. They've got Harry Kane, Luis Diaz, Elise up front, and they are tearing teams apart. I'm actually excited to see how that Bayern Munich attack, which is probably the most deadly in the world at the minute, compares to this Arsenal defence, a team who is so measly, a team who is just hell-bent on not letting anyone get past them. I think that's a matchup that could really make for good viewing, but I just hope we have our best players available. Players like Declan Rice, if he's missing, then it's kind of a bit like, well, you're missing a key piece to the cog. So if Declan Rice does play on this game, please just be careful. But I feel like we just have to rest him and save him for the game on the weekend. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a quick favour, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.